the 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, August 5th, 2026. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by Karen's Irish Rover in Langhorne, PA, Cavs Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. Chet, the Phillies had a big roster move and maybe just important bullpen move to try to right the struggling ship. The Eagles camp is hitting stride. First preseason game just 10 days away, pal. It's football time. The fans want to see LeBron. Where is he? Man, it's time for him to do a presser. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports and more.
Yeah, well, with the LeBron excitement having diminished somewhat, it is Eagles and Phillies getting most of the attention this week. There are daily stories out of the Birds training camp, some key guys out with nagging injuries or mysterious absences, unfortunately. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, the Phillies are looking a little better of late, certainly. 4 straight wins, 3 of them coming by shutout. And they have a bunch of guys playing new positions thanks to Monday's trades. Some wild stuff, Bill.
Absolutely. Good stuff, I think. I don't know if it's enough, but we're going to find out because we have a great guest tonight from Phillies Nation, Brian Michael. He'll be talking all things Phillies with us.
Yeah, first time since last fall that we're getting to talk with Brian, so we look forward to getting his take on those new-look Phillies and more, Bill.
That's right. Well, let's get to it. Let's welcome Brian back to Philly Pressbox Radio. Brian, welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys. How are you?
Hey, Brian. Good to see you, man. All right, let's get started with that major news that came down Monday, I guess late morning, the acquisition of the guy who has led the MLB in batting average the past 3 seasons with 3 different teams and just may do it again this year with a 4th team. We'll see. Were you at all surprised about the deal for second baseman Luis Arraez, and how much is it going to help in the effort to, make a deep postseason run?
I was a little bit surprised. I thought the pitching was probably the bigger need at the trade deadline. Obviously, folks are still talking about the need for a starting pitcher, but I'd like to move, certainly. I mean, why not? You're picking up a great hitter, contact hitter. They're putting him in the 4 hole to change the lineup a bit. It worked last night, certainly.
Yeah.
And I think other players will feed off of that. I think it'll help other players, not just protecting them in the lineup, but also just building that, hitting mentality, especially as we get into the postseason stretch run. So I like to move a lot. I think defensively, you guys mentioned, it reshuffles the team. I don't like that move. I think that's a terrible idea. But on a whole, the offense is better to cover that up than the other way around. So, it's worth making the risk and making that move to get this offense chugging along. So I'm fine with it. The players and Harper and Dave Dombrowski certainly all think it's temporary, at least just for the rest of this year. Obviously, we'll see with when Arraez and contract runs up. But for now, it's fine. I think it's as good as what they got. They didn't get a starting pitcher, which I think a lot of people would have liked to see, especially considering there were some out there. But when they don't have too much of a farm system, it's tough to really pick up anyone, at least anyone better than who they have. Nola and Painter, at the bottom end of the rotation. I don't think they were able to find anyone, or at least be in those conversations with the pitchers that were going to be better than picking up a pitcher better than them.
Now, along with that, Brian, a couple relievers were picked up, a right-hander and a left-hander.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like those additions, and what do you think it means at this point?
Well, that was definitely needed. We saw that the week before the trade deadline. Chet, you mentioned they won the past four with three shutouts coming.
Yeah.
But the Marlins series was full of missed opportunities, blown games by the bullpen. So I think that was an immediate need that they needed to pick up. Caleb Killian, who came over with Luis Ariz from the Giants, it's okay. He's having an okay year. I'm not super excited about him. I think he's more of a throw-in, but of course he pitched well last night, closed out the game for them. I am a little more high on Brooks Raley, the lefty who you mentioned. He's got a 1.96 ERA this year in 45 games coming from the Mets, and I think he will provide some stability in the bullpen because as we get closer to September and certainly into October, not only does the starting pitching rotation shrink, but the bullpen shrinks too. And I think Raley has a good opportunity to be one of those few pitchers, a setup man for Duran when needed as a lefty. So I'm high on him too.
Hey, I want to get back to Ariz for a minute. I saw an interesting stat on NBC Sports Philly within the last hour that since 1974, he has the best batting average with runners in scoring position of anybody. He's a couple of points higher than Tony Gwynn even. I think he's 327 with runners in scoring position. That's pretty impressive. But anyway, he's playing under a 1-year, $12 million contract that he had with the Giants. So he could very well be just a rental. Plus, of course, there's the possibility that there won't be any baseball next year, at least, in April or May. So, there could be a work stoppage. Do you think the Phillies will look to bring Ariz back next year with a new contract or not?
I think that's tough because just like we said, he doesn't really fit in the outfield or in the infield with the rest of the players, but I don't see why not. As I was saying with the trade deadline and trying to get a starting pitcher, I think one person that was potentially on the trading block was Alec Bohm.
Yeah.
Right. And he's kind of the piece that made all the rest of the dominoes fall over. Right. So we got Bohm and Harper and Stott all moving around because of that. So I think if they move him, that might be a linchpin to keep it Ariz, to kind of settle the infield back to where it was. Because, I don't think Harper is in the outfield for long. It doesn't sound like he wants to be, and he's certainly more comfortable at first base or DH, of course. So the team has plenty of DHs, so I'd rather see Harper in the field with his contract.
Brian, I just heard something on the pregame tonight because now we're in a rain delay. It's not going to start till 7:00. But they were talking about Andrew Painter, as you mentioned. Obviously it's been a disappointing year for him so far. Good outing last time. Hopefully another one tonight. They talked about how they might have found a mechanical problem in the grip on his splitter. Boy, would that be something if that's all it was, and it's a matter. Basically, they were saying that his finger location was not correct, which was losing his zip on his fastball and was hurting his splitter at the same time. If you get two pitches back with one little mechanical tweak, maybe this kid is going to be okay.
Yeah, that's why you go down to AAA. Hopefully they had that plan for him, but certainly his appearances down there showed that there was a change. His velocity was up. He had better control. His performances at AAA and his last one here with the Phillies, I think, kind of convinced Dave Dombrowski and the team that they didn't have to necessarily get that other starting pitcher, or at least, go dumpster diving for just anyone out there. Some sort of innings eater or Patrick Corbin or an older player like that. So I think you're right. That wouldn't surprise me. I didn't hear that was the reason, but he's definitely a different pitcher than when he went down, and hopefully a better pitcher. And obviously, some pitchers take it either way. We all know how Roy Halladay famously went down to the minors for a little bit. So, if you can use it to your advantage and get out of that, up and down funk, that's a big thing. So, I think Painter will go a long way with kind of judging Dombrowski too, because as we said, they don't have a lot of minor leaguers or prospects to trade, and the few that they've brought up have been inconsistent. Justin Crawford, Painter, right? If one of these guys can pan out, I think that'll, solidify his legacy a little bit, but they still don't have a farm system moving forward in the future. So we do need one of these young guys to work out for sure.
Well, since you mentioned Justin Crawford, let me ask you about him. He started off great, then went into a little bit of a funk, but he's been really good again over the last month and a half or so. I think he's hitting over 300 in the last 6 weeks plus. So I'm impressed with what he's done as a rookie, hitting 260 or whatever it is right now. So where do you stand on Justin Crawford, and can he be the guy in center field for the next several years?
He can be. I don't think he will be this year. I think it looks like it's going to be a platoon with him and Derek Hill at center field for the foreseeable future. But yes, I mean, absolutely. What we saw in the first half of the season, or at least the first month of the season, was great. Having that young talent, someone who can play center field consistently on an everyday basis. I mean, that's who they've been looking for the past couple of years, right? Someone who can do that, and just hit a little bit. Right, they don't need him to be mashing the ball or anything. So, being a consistent hitter, and now at this point, getting on base at the bottom of the lineup, because we're going to have Kyle Schwarber leading off, right, and coming in the one position. So that's going to be an interesting way how the lineup plays out. So he has the opportunity to get some runs, to get on base, right, kind of do some of the things that the past center fielders haven't been able to do, and like you said, hold on to that spot for a couple of years. Now, at the same time, like I said, he's going to be platooning with Derek Hill probably for the rest of this year. He's still young. It's going to happen. Derek Hill's exciting. He's a fan favorite. He's been making some great catches, and I think he's Mattingly is kind of high on him. So it looks like for now it's going to be a platoon with Crawford and Hill, and then also Marcia and De La Cruz over in left field.
Hey, Brian, you mentioned Brooks Raley, the left-hander, as a possible setup guy from the left side. How do you see the roles of Kerkering and Alvarado going? They both scare me to death, and they're just consistent. They're not consistent. They're consistently not good. How's that?
Right. Yep. No. Yeah. We've seen that. We've seen that before. I don't think they're going to make that kind of short bench for the playoffs. We all know what happened with Kerkering last year. So I think it'd be a shame to not get him in the game and maybe rebuild some of his confidence there in the playoffs. But no, you're right. And I think that's why they had to go out and make these specific bullpen moves. And like I said, more so Riley than Killian. But I think they're going to need him. And then, once the playoff comes, you're going to have Nola maybe in the bullpen, right? Or Painter coming out of the bullpen for an inning or two. So that kind of adds another arm and pushes everyone else down. So, yeah, no, they don't give me a whole lot of confidence. Obviously Duran, I think, does. But after that, not as much.
Yeah, and they better hope those top three starters stay healthy or they're in big trouble, in my opinion. One guy that does concern me right now is Kyle Schwarber. Since the All-Star break, I don't know if it was because he was in the home run derby or what, but he is not hitting for power. He's got, 3 homers since early July or something like that. Not the Kyle Schwarber that we're used to in the hot days of summer. So what's your take? What's going on with him? Is he healthy or what's happening?
From everything I heard, he's healthy. Yeah, that he might be worn out from all the All-Star game festivities. We always kind of talk about that, and I know fans always say, "Oh, we don't want players in the home run derby." Obviously, this was in Philadelphia this year, so we needed someone. We got 2. He, of course, made the home run derby as exciting as it was. That was a lot of fun, so we all appreciate that. But yeah, we wish he could save some of those dingers for the remainder of the season. He looks, just kind of stressing up there a little bit. Too much swinging. Just, I don't know, just not patient like he was before, waiting for his pitches. Maybe this move to the leadoff spot will help him calm down a little bit, not have to think about hitting home runs as much, just getting on base, which is a good start. Drawing walks is always a good way to get out of a slump. So maybe focusing on that. But again, I think having a rise on the team will kind of lift all boats as they all kind of focus on hitting a little bit more. and see what he does at the plate and how he's such a great contact hitter. Mattingly, of course, it's from his era, but he was comparing him to how Tony Gwynn hits, like you said, obviously the stats, but also Wade Boggs, right? So, when you have those guys in the lineup, I think it'll help. So these moves, the Phillies need a little shakeup every month or so, right? Whether it's the manager or the trade deadline, having some players, new blood in the lineup. I feel like they might get a little complacent as the dog days of summer go on.
Bill?
Hey, Brian, the guy that really concerns me because I thought he would shake out of it and would get a little bit better is that JT Realmuto. He has gotten up over 220, but he's under contract for a couple more years after this. They don't seem to have any catchers in the system that are going to take over for him. Are we going to have JT with us for a couple more years?
I think at least through next year. Yeah, I don't see them moving him anytime soon. But yeah, he, like you said, he's another one who needs to kind of get out of the funk. And that was kind of the problem to begin with. We all know the talent they have if they can put it together, but they're consistently inconsistent, as you said. And Aaron Nola, who I've talked about plenty of times on the show, is public enemy number one there. So. Yeah, JT, they don't have, Marchand is obviously hurt right now. Stubbs is honestly, I feel, just taking up a roster spot. But, no, they don't have much coming through the pipeline after JT. So I think he's definitely sticking around. So he needs to get out of the funk too.
Oh, not just at catcher, but as you alluded to earlier, the farm system itself as a whole is not all that impressive. I mean, you got Gage Wood, who they're high on as a pitcher. There's that real young guy, the 17-year-old, who's, of course, 4 years away minimum. Is there anything else down on the farm that we might have to look forward to that you're aware of?
Well, that's funny. We just released our kind of top 15 prospect list over at Phillies Nation last week, like we do, the end of last week, like we do around this time, so we know if there's any kind of trade pieces around. But we had a hard time coming up with 15 guys, and I told the crew,
Ouch.
We could do 10 if we want, but I don't see any of these guys making the big league roster next year. Right. Like you say, Gage Wood is at the top of our list. Aiden Miller is obviously up there too. But
if he can never get healthy.
Exactly. So, I don't see any of these guys coming up right away or helping the major league team. So that's why we got Crawford and Painter, kind of invested or the team's invested in them and their success. So they got to contribute at least a little bit here.
Brian, I'm going to put you on the spot here. You
Okay.
might have to be a psychiatrist, psychologist, or something with this. What is going on with Trey Turner?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Hey, he's hitting. We got that. He's hitting again.
He's warming up a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like with all the defensive moves and the most obvious move would be him shaking up the positions. But of course, they said, and he said that he's definitely not moving from shortstop. But I feel like it's because he's been doing so poorly that it's almost like you would be giving up on him. So it's where you kind of have to keep him there to get his confidence back. But no, I mean, by far defensively, just terrible. So I think they're throwing in the towel on defense here and going all in on offense. So if they don't hit, which is what happened the past couple postseasons, then they don't have a chance, right? They're not going to have a chance. They're going to lose games. They're going to get shut out, right? They're going to get no hit in the World Series, So, I see the comment there. JT's value is in handling the staff. I think that's true, but certainly when the Phillies signed him originally, his bat was a huge part of why they picked him up, and he was batting fourth and fifth there for a while. So, I think Trey Turner's the bigger question. I mean, his contract, Nola's contract, they're a real kind of yoke around the Phillies payroll for the next couple of years. And the Turner one, more so. Harper, as inflation goes and as that winds down, it doesn't look as bad. I think, especially if he stays healthy and keeps playing, whether it's first base or even DH in another 3-4 years. But Turner, no, I don't know. And it's like you can't trade them. You can't trade these people, of course, because they have these high contracts, and when they're not performing, no one wants them, of course. So, no, he's someone who will be around as well, running it back.
Going to be an interesting next couple of months for sure. Hey, this Friday night, Phillies are going to induct Chase Utley into the Wall of Fame. One of my favorite players of the early and, teens of the 2000s. Love that guy. Certainly well-deserved. Do you have any favorite memories of Chase Utley, Brian?
Well, he's absolutely my favorite player, certainly, growing up and in the 2008 World Series. From all his home runs in the postseason, the kind of fake throw in the World Series to throw the guy out at home. Even playing at the vet as a young guy. I remember writing for Phillies Nation, kind of talking about him, just like we're talking about Justin Crawford. Like, I hope this young guy can make it here. Of course, he hits a grand slam in his first at bat.
Yep.
But my favorite memory would be on Halloween Day, 2008. If you guys recall the parade, I was down at the stadium. I wasn't
Yes.
on the parade route, but I was at the stadium for these speeches, and sitting there with my family, and it was great, having a good time. And of course, he drops the world fucking champs bomb, and the place went nuts. He's a man of few words, but he knows how to pick them for sure. So, I mean, I'm glad that I was able to see that in person. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that was a shock to me because he was so not soft-spoken, but just kind of, kept it close to the vest all the time, never said anything controversial. And then to hear that come out of Chase's mouth, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But yeah, he endeared himself to everybody if he wasn't already endeared to them when he did that. So that was certainly a great memory.
Hey, Brian, I got to ask you, the Dodgers now have a $1.2 billion pitching staff, with most of them hurt or trying not to be hurt. Did the Phillies' three starters win a series against that bunch? Do you have a chance if you get in there against the Dodgers?
No, not with the lineup and those pitchers. I don't think so. We're still not there. I don't win a game. I just could see him winning a game, maybe taking a game, but in a 3-game series or 5-game, we're not going to want to see the Dodgers in the playoffs. They have recently. Obviously, they have a history in 2008 and in the early late 70s too. But no, they're a juggernaut of a team, and they're built for the playoffs. They have the relief pitchers, they have the hitting, they have the experience. It's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers for sure. So.
Well, I know it doesn't matter quite as much right now, but the Dodgers have lost 6 games in a row. They lost again today, and they've fallen behind both the Brewers and the Braves in the race for the best record in the National League. So there is that. So, you would think they want one of those top 2 spots, certainly, to avoid playing an opening round game. But I'm sure they will turn it on. They have too much talent not to. Brian, tell everybody what's going on with Phillies Nation and where people can follow you and the gang at Phillies Nation.
Sure, of course. PhilliesNation.com for all the latest news, game recaps, trade analysis. We got a lot of great articles about everything we just talked about, interviews with Dave Dombrowski and quotes from the players. But of course, on Twitter, Phillies Nation, Facebook, Phillies Nation, Instagram, Phillies Nation _official. But yeah, we love when people interact. Now is an exciting time. Like you said, it's the stretch run. We made the moves. They're kind of all in with this team. So we're excited. And yeah, keep following. Playoff push. Our writers are down there at the ballpark and on the road trips. Destiny and Ty do a great job covering the team. So check it out. Always happy to talk. Hopefully we can talk in October about a World Series championship. And also, just as a reminder, this year is the 100th anniversary of the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets NFL championship. So it's the NFL championship too. It's a real deal. 100 years for the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets, which I think is pretty cool. So much so, I wrote a book about it. So you guys can look for that, Google it. But a lot of festivities coming up later in fall for the.
What's the title? Put it out there. What you got?
It's called the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets. You can get it at frankfurtyellowjacketsbook.com or at our store, Shibe Sports, down at Center City. But it's a big year for football, big year for sports here in Philadelphia. Really excited about 2026, and the All-Star game was a lot of fun.
Well, one final thing I had for you, and you just mentioned it. Tell us what's going on at Shibe Sports. You got that thing rolling pretty good.
Well, did you guys hear the Sixers sign LeBron James?
I heard something about that.
I heard something about
That's kind of a big deal. Yeah, people are excited about the Sixers when otherwise no one would be excited about the Sixers. And compounded on the playoff run that they had last season. Going into this regular season, people are going to be more excited than they have been in a long time. So we got LeBron shirts, we got Sixers gear, we're ready to go. Not to mention Phillies playoffs. People are excited about the Flyers and how they finished the season, and of course the Birds.
And where can they look up Shibe Sports?
ShibeSports.com. Or in Center City, 13th and Walnut. If you're headed to the game or in Center City, stop in. We got a lot of stuff, and we love talking sports. So always welcome.
You'll ship anywhere.
Of course.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Brian. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to do this with us. Let's do it again, and maybe, like you said, we can do it around October. We can talk about playoff baseball.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Brian. Appreciate you. All right. Good stuff, Chet. Hey, Chet, I was going to ask you, were you at that Frankfurt game?
The first one?
100 years ago?
Yeah, I didn't make it to that one, Bill. I was busy.
Hey, Chet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network as it set the trends. It's a network set up by our pal, Phil Stifel. Hosted a terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep, you can find Philly Pressbox Radio there in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network setting the trends for what sports talk should be. Chet, they need to be hitting that like and follow button, right?
Please. Yes, please do, man. We got to get those subscribers up. We've been stagnant lately.
Absolutely. Hey, Chet, summer's in full swing. There's nowhere to get a colder beer and a great meal than Curran's Irish Rover. What kind of August already, activities are going on over at Curran's Irish Rover?
Yeah, time flies. We are in August, Bill, and they've got it going on at Curran's. Still great food and drinks and loads of fun events, despite the new name. It's, a lot of the same business as usual, but now even better. At Curran's Irish Rover in Langhorne, PA, they now have music every Friday and Saturday. They have a Sunday Fun Day menu. And how about some of the other weekly mainstays? Well, there are a bunch of them. 80-cent wings on Tuesday nights. I love that. Trivia and prime rib specials Wednesday evenings. Music bingo every Thursday. And happy hour deals every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Yeah, 4 to 6 p.m., the new time for happy hour. Of course, you will continue to find 25 beers on tap and a friendly, knowledgeable waitstaff at the Rover. And by the way, the Rover is hiring, so if you're looking for a new gig, check them out. Curran's Irish Rover. They're located at 1033 South Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. And the new website is curransirishrover.com.
Hey there, it's Scott Fransky of the Phillies. Bill, Chet, keep up the great work.
We're trying, Scott.
And you too, Scott. Hey, Chet, I wanted to throw out a stat. I had to pull this up, and I want to read it off my phone so I don't mess it up. As a follow-up to baseball, and I think this fares well for the Phillies pitching, and we can talk about that after this. But Paul Skeens, our buddy Kevin Reevey, posted this. Yeah, Paul Skeens, for everyone listening, in his first ever major league start, he threw 32 pitches, 98 plus miles per hour. In his last 15 MLB starts combined, he has only thrown 30 pitches, 98 plus miles an hour. And his comment is, Jacob Mizorowski is next. The max effort thing is not sustainable. I've been saying that forever. Kevin is right. The thing about the Phillies pitching, especially with Sanchez, well, Wheeler's just a pro. He's just a good pitcher. But with Sanchez and Luzardo, their best pitch is their changeup. Mm-hmm. And they're not an all-in type of pitchers like these other guys. Interesting that somebody actually has the stats to kind of back that whole theory up.
Yeah, the days of Nolan Ryan, who can throw, 98 to 100 forever, I think are gone. A lot of these younger guys come up and look so impressive for a couple of years, and then either they get arm trouble or just, they don't have that fastball quite as well as they did when they first came up. So, yeah, Kevin may be onto something there.
Yeah, he is. And it's the philosophy now. Come in, throw 100 pitches as hard as you can throw them. If it takes you 5, 6, or 7 innings, we're going to get you out of the 100. Throw as many as, throw as hard as you can. And that's what the game has come down to. And it's going to be short life for a lot of these guys. The arms can't do it. It's not meant for it. All right, Chet, been a lot of feedback from last week's visit with Joe Amadei on where people can see the local showings of Cold War in Philly, Flyers versus Russ in 1976. Can we put that schedule back up for the people to see?
Yeah, I will do that, and I will absolutely do that. But for folks who may have somehow missed us talking about that great documentary, it is terrific. Lots of interviews with the Broad Street Bully era Flyers, guys who played in that legendary game at the Spectrum, the memorable moments from the game, etc. It is available now to stream on Prime, Apple TV Plus, and Fandango at home. I believe it's just $5 to watch on any of those platforms. But like with any movie, it is a better experience in the theater, and you will still have at least 3 or 4 more opportunities to see it that way over the next couple of months. There's the list: Sellersville, Bethlehem, Bryn Mawr, and then up in Lexington, Massachusetts too. And Bill, the editor and me really wanted to say to Joe, who the hell spelled Bethlehem? Come on. Fix that. I didn't say it last week when Joe was on, but that just jumped out at me.
Well, there you go. And they got it right in the second one.
They did. Yeah, they did. Below. But the headline version just screamed Bethlehem.
Only you would figure that out.
Well, I am a proud member of the grammar police, Bill.
Yes, absolutely.
But
absolutely.
Yeah, Cold War in theaters. See it. You still haven't gotten around to watching it yet, have you?
No, not yet. I was gone again all last week, and I'm going again starting tomorrow. So I'll get to it. But and I'm excited to see it. I wish I could see it in the theater. I really do.
Yeah.
But that's probably not going to happen. But check it out for anybody that can. And Jet, like Tommy and me with Ray Didinger, this thing seems to be picking up momentum as more people get to see it. The word of mouth is getting out, and more. There's going to be more and more showings, I feel like, even though you can buy it for $5.
And I'm going to say this. I loved having Joe on with us a couple of times now. He's a movie lover like me, and he texted me after his visit last week, said he can't wait to come back on again in the fall because he just enjoys being on with us. And he said, we make it easy for guests. Hey, we will take compliments like that any day of the week.
Absolutely. I had a compliment too from a new person watching the show. Said it's like you're sitting around at the kitchen table or sitting at the bar talking sports. And that's what we aimed to do when we started this thing in our 13th year, was to just be able to shoot the breeze, have a good time, and get feedback from listeners, and that's our aim. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's what Glenn Macnow and Ray Didinger said their aim was when they did their Saturday morning show. We're in no league with Glenn and Ray. They were the absolute best at that format. And speaking to those guys, they're doing another one of their shows. I believe it's this Friday, the 7th, another one of their greatest moments in Philly sports. And it's somewhere down in South Jersey. So check that out. If you follow Glenn Macnow, he's posting about it all the time. So it is terrific. I did see it last year. The greatest moments in Philly sports with Glenn Macnow and our pal Ray Diddy.
All right, let's talk some football, Chet. Eagles camp is underway. Preseason opener just 10 days away in Baltimore. Saturday a week, if you didn't want to count your fingers of how many days 10 was. Next Saturday, Eagles, Ravens.
Yeah, can you believe it? A lot going on at training camp. Now, some of the concerns, Hurts has been kind of up and down with how he has looked so far. Both Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon missed practice Tuesday and today, I think, with hamstring issues. They don't think it's anything serious, so hopefully it's, nothing to worry about. But Lane Johnson has been out all this week with an excused non-injury absence, a personal matter of some sort. So we hope everything is okay with Lane Johnson, and he comes back with a strong, healthy year, because he's the anchor of that O-line, which is so important to everything the Eagles do on offense.
Yeah, Lane might be using that, whatever it's been, 12, 14, 15 year, I don't like training camp, excuse. I get it. Training camp is an absolute grind. And, maybe, hopefully Lane doesn't have any serious issues going on, first of all. But, if the guy needs to take, he'll be ready to come.
And by the way, our pal Brandon Lee Gouton, who I'm sure we'll have on in the next month or so, he's been doing a great job with Bleeding Green Nation, kind of monitoring all of these practices and posting about them on Twitter. So he said, Hurts had a rough day Tuesday, but looked much sharper this morning. BLG said regarding the backup quarterbacks, Andy Dalton has looked better, a lot better, he said, than Tanner McKee. So, maybe it will be Dalton winning that backup job. And BLG is also a fan of Darius Cooper. He raved about him last year, one of the, extra wide receivers who got in a couple of games last year, caught a few passes. He said Darius Cooper has looked terrific so far in training camp this year. So he could be a guy who will make the team and maybe even contribute. So that'll be something to keep an eye on.
Well, I tell you, we're going to talk about this probably every week until they win the Super Bowl again next March, February, whenever in the world they're going to play it now. But this Jalen Hurts every single day beatdown. Hey, the guy was 30 seconds late from yesterday because he had to stop at the bathroom. Let's be sure everybody knows that. He throws in completions to, somebody. Stop. Let the kid play a little bit.
Yeah, it's overkill. And I guess the guys on the radio are just looking for something to talk about. And the quarterback in a big city is always a go-to, I guess, especially in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Arrays just hit a home run for those Titans. It's 1-1.
Oh, Arrays hit the home run?
Arrays, yeah.
Oh,
yes,
my God. And he's not a home run hitter.
Right. So, I think the other thing, too, is let's get through this whole preseason mess. Fortunately, they've got it down to 3 games instead of 4. Let's get to it, and hopefully we have a good season ahead. I feel pretty good about what's coming up.
And by the way, with Lane Johnson being out all week, I guess the good news is it's gotten a lot more reps for the likes of third-round draft pick Markel Bell. So, he's a rookie. He certainly needs the work to get familiar with the new system that Mannion has put in place. So that's a good thing, getting these guys more work in case they do have to play in meaningful games. Landon Dickerson not playing today or participating, just a day of rest, nothing to be concerned with there. Drew Kendall getting first-team reps on that front. As you mentioned, Bill, the first game, August 15th, down in Baltimore against the Ravens, and then another road game up in New England when they do that joint practice thing, the Eagles and Patriots. A.J. Brown will get to hang with his old teammates.
Oh, A.J. got hurt yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that, yes.
Yeah. And,
nothing serious, just a little
dislocated finger, but that'll probably take him out a couple days anyway. He's going to use that veteran privilege, too, as much as he can, I think.
One last thing on football. CBS Sports on Monday came out with a ranking of the NFL's top 10 current coaches. And guess who's not in the top 10, Bill?
Is he 17 like his quarterback?
Yeah, it looks that way because they list the top 10. Top 10, no surprises. Sean McVay, Mike McDonald of the Seahawks, number 2, Kyle Shanahan of the Niners. Then you have the likes of, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson of the Bears at number 6, Jim Harbaugh with the Chargers, Mike Vrabel of the Patriots at number 8, D'Amico Ryans of the Texans ahead of Nick Sirianni, and then Matt LaFleur of the Packers at number 10. Okay, so still no Sirianni. Now here's the weird part. Also receiving votes, so this would be 11 through 15, presumably. Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, Kevin O'Connell, Mike McCarthy, and Liam Cohen. So yeah, there's 15. No Sirianni.
Well, you lost me at number one. If Andy Reid is at number one, then the list is gone, right?
Yeah, he's down to number 4 now.
He's the dean. He's still the dean. Speaking of the Rams real quick, though, Aaron Donald looks like there's a real chance he's coming out of retirement and going to play for the Rams. He semi-practiced today. And, I guess what it is, he's practicing on the side field. I guess he's not under contract. And he's trying to see if his body is prepared to take what it's going to take to get back in shape and play in the league.
Interesting.
Aaron Donald, he's fantastic. He was fantastic when he retired. Add him to that Rams team that's already pretty good, and he could be a big impact.
Yeah, it's no wonder a lot of people are picking the Rams to win the Super Bowl, but it's only August. A lot can happen.
It's only August. Everybody's winning it come August. All 15 of them coaches you just talked about. When the one not on the list is the one that's going to win it.
You know who's not going to win it? The Cleveland Browns are not going to be a contender.
They are not going to win it again.
Never.
Hey, what's going on with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Bob Cavanaugh and the gang at Cavs Philly Tailgates.
Yeah, Cav and company at Philly Tailgates. They've been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years. Cav, a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates, Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest, and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it, but Cav is known best for tailgates before Philly sporting events. There is one before the Phillies Wall of Fame game Friday night. Chase Utley to be honored, as we said. There's a tailgate before the Temple Penn State football game at the Link on September 12th. That'll be an early one because it's a noon game. Plus, there'll be a tailgate bash before AC/DC rocks the Link on September 29th. Of course, tailgates before all Eagles home games, too. Get details on those and other events at Cavs' website, phillytailgates.com. And if you do have any questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
Absolutely. Hey, Chet, LeBron has officially signed his Sixers contract. Nick Nurse had a presser today talking about LeBron and where he might fit in best. When is the presser scheduled for him to meet with this tremendous Philly media?
Well, bad news, Bill. The trade has actually been scrapped, and LeBron's not coming. No, I'm just kidding. There is word, though.
Burn the jerseys. Burn the T-shirts.
Now, there will not be a formal presser for LeBron, which is kind of strange. I mean, everybody gets an introductory press conference. Not LeBron James. He probably called that shot, he and Rich Paul. There will be a Jaylen Brown presser, though, tomorrow, Thursday at 2 p.m. So we will get to hear from Jaylen Brown finally. It's been a while since that trade happened. But, new head of basketball operations, Mike Gansey, was on 97.5 this morning. I listened to him, and he said, doesn't look like we're going to get to see LeBron behind the mic until Sixers Media Day, which will be in late September, right before they begin training camp over in Camden. By the way, LeBron is not apparently getting himself a home in the Philly or South Jersey area, but instead will stay in New York City. That bothers some people, Bill. Does that bother you?
Is he going to be at the games?
He's going to be at the games. He's going to be at practice. Yeah, I don't care either.
I don't care. Stay where you want. It doesn't matter to me. But, I don't know if you read anything into this. I kind of like the fact that he's not having a presser. I kind of like the fact that it sounds, you can interpret it however you want, that it's not about me.
Let's go with that. I don't know if that's what it is. Yeah, could be. I mean,
it's not, I'm there the first day, it's all about me. I'm going to throw the pixie dust up in the air and do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Magic dust, I guess it is. But yeah, I kind of like it. Now, I will say, Nick Nurse's comments today, they were asking him how he sees LeBron fitting in. And as we talked last week with, who did we have last week? Talking to Kai Carlin.
Yes.
there's a good chance that he could be the point guard.
Yeah.
They love how he distributes the ball. He still averaged over 7 assists for the Lakers this year in year 114 of his career. And he still averages 7 assists a game. He may be the guy that is the one that's going to set the table. And if he does, watch out for Tyrese Maxey. I feel like he's going to explode.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch these guys. So, man, it is going to be so much fun watching this Sixers team on the court together. Going to be exciting. And, I'm really liking Mike Gansey, Bill, the new head of basketball operations. He obviously is an upgrade over Daryl Morey, and he's making the rounds lately. Yesterday, he was at Eagles training camp on the sidelines chatting up Howie Roseman, man, 2 heavy hitters right there. And then he threw out the first pitch at Tuesday night's Phillies game. So Mike Gansey is a popular guy right now, and so is that Luis Arise, man.
Yeah. Well, good for the Sixers. Like we talked about, they needed to figure something out to get out of the abyss, and they have done it.
And the best thing I heard from Gansey today, and I've heard some other reports on this front, Joel Embiid apparently is healthy. Now, I know we're all a little skeptical of that, but it is one of the very first times that he's not coming off a year where he finished, in bad shape with, something happening to his face or another knee issue or whatever. So they said he is healthy and has no limitations right now. Now, that being said, they will still limit him, give him some maintenance, some load management, probably try to limit his minutes to an extent until the games get, really, really critical later in the year. So they're trying to formulate some sort of a plan to best keep Joel Embiid healthy and on the court in the games that he's truly needed. So we'll see.
Chet, could you imagine the Philly media? Let's just say Joel now all of a sudden can stay healthy because we're headed to the top. We're headed to the mountaintop. Now he can stay healthy, and now he can play 65 or 70 games without getting hurt.
Yeah, let's not get carried away.
What do you? How do you think the Philly media would respond to all that stuff?
Oh my God, it would be kind of a miracle, Bill. A little bit of a winter miracle. We shall see.
Yeah. Hey,
my buddy Arch, he's one of the healthiest players in August. Yeah, I know. See how he is in November and December and January. I hear you, Arch.
You're right, Arch. Hey, Jen, I wanted to circle back there to the comment that was made about the Phillies and the Dodgers, and no chance of beating the Dodgers. What say you about that?
There's always a chance. I mean, I'm old, Bill, so I go back to, I guess it was 1983 when the Phillies lost 11 of 12 games against the Dodgers in the regular season, then beat them in the postseason. So anything can happen. It's a different game in the postseason. And with the Phillies pitching staff, if you can line it up so you have the big 3 going for games 1, 2, and 3, I would give the Phillies a pretty good chance against the Dodgers. And like I pointed out, the Dodgers just lost 6 games in a row. And it ain't that they're not trying, because they do want to have one of those top 2 seeds, certainly. So they're in a little bit of a slump right now, too. It can happen. And instead of the Phillies getting, cold bats in October, just maybe it can happen to the Dodgers for a change.
Yeah, well, I'm just hoping, and maybe with this this lineup, I wasn't happy with it when I saw it with Schwarber and at the leadoff. I've never liked that. But Schwarber does walk a lot, and so does Harper. And if it could set the table for some base hits, they need to figure out how to play small ball. They got to get out of this home run or bust thing. And I think if they can figure that out and start getting maybe 8 hits a game instead of 3 and 4. If you get 8 or 10 hits, you're going to win. You got a real good chance of winning then. And they need to play differently. What they've been doing hasn't worked, and I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, and they've been helped the last 5 or 6 games by the schedule. I mean, they should have beat the Marlins last week, of course, but the Orioles kind of stink, and right now the Nationals kind of stink. They also got a break in, the fact that Woods is out of the lineup with an injury, and the Nats also traded away one of their best players in Luis Garcia Jr., so they're a little bit undermanned, and the Phillies are getting hot, hopefully at a time where they can have that carry over into more meaningful games. They're all meaningful, but games that can help them move up in the standings because they're right now tied for the 5th and 6th wild card spot. And, San Diego's moving on up, and the Cubs, who had the top wild card spot, they're playing really, really well right now. So the Phils have to stack some wins here.
Yeah, well, they better stack the games they're supposed to win. And that's where, when they lost a bunch of those games there over the last couple of weeks, they were teams that they needed to beat. You got to stack wins against those teams because you're not going to beat the good teams all the time.
And that's the one concerning thing is the record against the good teams this year, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Braves, not real good. So they are winning the majority of the games against those, lower dwellers. But, you got to beat some of the good teams too, especially when you come to October.
That's right. Hey, Chip, great guest tonight, and Brian Michael. Who's coming to Philly Press Box next week, and do we have a schedule change we need to talk about?
Oh, yeah, we got lots to talk about on that front, Bill. Let me see if I can find our guest. I found that. So let's see. Next week, well, here's the funny thing, Bill. Last week at about this point in the show, you asked me who was going to be on this week's show, and I gave you a name, but I was a week off. You got it wrong. I called it a senior moment because as I was putting the show together, I put a guy who's going to be on next week in the show last week for this week. You following all that, folks? Anyway, yes. Next week, first of all, we're going to have a schedule change. It will be Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. You may or may not be able to join us because, as you said, you're traveling. You may be off in the woods somewhere at a campsite or something. I don't know. You're always somewhere. You're home for like one day right now, right?
Yep, leave it in the morning.
Crazy.
Right and early, 5 a.m.
So pay attention, folks. I got it right this time. Next Tuesday at 7 p.m., we will be talking more Phillies with the guy that I showed you last week saying he was going to be this week, but no, it's next week. It is Matt Watson of the Philly Sports Network and Metro Philly. He's going to be on the show live. Looking forward to a return visit from Matt. He is really, really good. And again, that is Tuesday, August 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And Bill, before I forget, I want to mention this lady because she is having a birthday tomorrow. It's Judy Arnold. We've had Judy on our show, I think 3 or 4 times over the years. Always one of our most popular guests. Roller Derby Hall of Famer, a Philly legend for people of a certain age. And Judy Arnold celebrates her 82nd birthday on Thursday. So happy birthday, pretty Judy Arnold.
Hey, you know who had a birthday recently as well, who turned 80?
Who's that?
And we never even discussed it. It just might happen in the middle of a week and we didn't get it or whatever. That's Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah. I mentioned it the week before that he was going to turn 80 that following Monday. Yes, Sly Stallone now 80 years young.
How'd that happen, Rock?
Oh, my. Oh, my.
Well, I'm hoping I am going to be in a campground somewhere in some woods, but it does have internet. So once I get there, find out if it's doable or not. I'm going to plan on trying to do it once I find out if I can. If I can't, I'll catch you next time, but I'm going to try.
All right. Now, Bill, before we wrap up, I have a couple other odds and ends that I will throw at the very end, but we were talking about Chase Utley with our guy, Brian Michael, one of his favorite players, one of my favorite players. I'm guessing one of your favorite players as well. And I don't know if you know this, but remember Harry Callis's Chase Utley, you are the man call? Mm-hmm. Well, as it turns out, Chase Utley is going into the Hall of Fame this Friday. That you are the man, Harry Callis call was 20 years ago this Sunday. And I happen to have that for you right now. So sit back and relax. 49 seconds of Harry Callis.
Driven to deep left center field. This ball is extra bases. One hopping off the fence. Nunez scores. Rollins scores. Flying around third. Victorino. He scores a bases loaded double. Chase Utley. And the Phillies have taken a 5-3 lead here in the 7th inning. Big clutch blow by Chase.
That was something to watch.
Right on the heels of J-Roll. There goes Chase, and this is chopped to McBride, who throws it. Chase is going to keep going, and he's safe at home plate. Wow. Chase Utley, you are the man. Wow, what a base running play after a bases clearing double, and the Phillies lead it 6-3.
Great
Isn't
call.
that great?
One of the classic Harry call right there for sure. Hey,
Yeah.
Chet, Chase Utley's going to make it in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
And he
59% this year. So with not a lot of big names next year available, I think Chase is going in.
He's going to get in next year or the year after, almost for sure. And I'm going to tell you, I'm really surprised. I'm not sure Chase Utley is a Hall of Famer. Great five-year run, but man, good for him if he can get in. And if he does get in, Jimmy needs to go too. And I've said that all along. There shouldn't be one without the other, just like there's Alan Trammell without Lou Whitaker. That should not have happened that way. So I'm hoping Chase gets in. I'm hoping Jimmy follows him up and starts picking up some momentum as well, and he can get in too. I'm really surprised.
I hate agreeing with you, but you are spot on. Yeah, he and J-Roll, similar numbers in a lot of ways, and they both should be going in, or are both very near misses. But hey, I think Utley's get in. I want to see J-Roll get in as well. Let me tell you about Utley's career. 16 MLB seasons, 12 and a half with the Phils, a 6-time All-Star, World Series fucking champion, as we discussed. Got his first major league
hit. Is that a stat, by the way? Is that on the stat sheet?
As Brian mentioned, his first major league hit, it did not come in his first at bat, but his first hit was a grand slam against Colorado in 2003. He had that 35-game hit streak in 2006, and in 11 World Series games in 08 and 09, 7 home runs, 2 of them in 08, and then 5 in a losing effort against the Yankees in 2009. So Chase Utley is the man. And Bill, real quickly, he hit 233 home runs as a Philly, which ranks him 6th on the Phils all-time list, higher than you might have expected. Can you name all 5 Phillies who have more than that as Phillies? I know a couple are easy, so go for it.
Well, there's Mike Schmidt, obviously. There's Greg Luzinski.
Nope. Luzinski was behind Utley. Luzinski had 220 as a Philly, or 223. Utley had 233. So, yeah, Luzinski was
Ryan
7th.
Howard.
Ryan Howard second.
Pat Burrell.
Yeah, I would have forgot Pat Burrell hit that many, but he did. 251.
Pat Burrell. And
2 other old-timers.
Chuck Klein.
Yep, he was 5th.
Chuck Klein was 5th, so I'm missing number 4.
Number 3.
Number 3. Del Ennis.
Wow, you are 5 for 5, Bill Furman. How about
Hey
that,
now.
Del Ennis?
Hey now.
He still got it.
How about that? How about that? Very good. All right. We all done? You got anything else, or want to wrap this thing up?
I have 1 or 2 more things that I want to mention. Bill, did you watch the Brady Bunch as a kid?
Well, a little bit.
Come on, everybody watched the Brady Bunch. Who you kidding? Well,
a little bit.
You'll remember Maureen McCormick, who played Marcia. That's her on the right. Joe Namath was on the Brady Bunch on one episode. Well, this is going to make everybody in our age group feel kind of old, because Maureen McCormick today is turning 70. She is 70 years old. She was a heartthrob for a lot of 12 and 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds back when the Brady Bunch was on ABC Friday nights in 1969.
I believe Marcia's had a rough run of it, too. I think.
Yeah, she's had some issues, yeah.
Life hasn't been easy for Marcia.
Yeah. And my last thing, congratulations to the late, great Pierre Robert. It was announced yesterday. He's going into the Radio Hall of Fame. Induction will be this October. Unfortunately, it'll be posthumously, as we lost Pierre last October. But yeah, Pierre Robert, WMMR radio legend, going into the Radio Hall of Fame.
Do you have to be dead to go in that? Why was he not in that?
You don't.
Why was he not in that like a long time ago?
I know. He should have been.
Yeah. Wow. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he's not. That's for sure.
Wrap it up, Bill.
All right, let's do it. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Brian Michael, our sponsors at Currents Irish Rover, Cavs Philly Tailgates, and PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim, Chet, Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Tuesday. Mark your calendar, Tuesday, August 11th at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel as well. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Go Phillies!
High hopes.